Welcome everybody to part 1 of my Lords of the Fallen walkthrough. I've already been through the beginning area 2 or 3 times already. 2 times already, this is going to be the 3rd. And to start with, as always, we are going to go through character creation, which are the best classes to start with, and where you should be aiming your focus. Now, if you want a very easy and melee focused at the beginning, but turns into a bit of a paladin later on, the Dark Crusader is by far the strongest start that you can have. So if you pre-ordered the game and you have the Dark Crusader, you want easy mode, that is the Dark Crusader in a nutshell. Okay, then, so moving on from the Dark Crusader, it's probably a tie between the Hallowed Knight and the Partisan as the best starting classes, kind of depending on how you want to play and what you want to do. And I guess realistically they are very similar in a lot of ways. The thing that you are looking to do here is have the least combined radiance in Inferno with the most points in endurance and vitality. This is going to give you a nice comfortable start, as well as allow you to respec into multiple classes. Overall, I think the Partisan wins out because it doesn't have that extra point in radiance, but depending on the equipment and shields you end up using, the Hallowed Knight may well be the one. But I do think the Partisan is going to give you access to the most weapons and shields, because shields have minimum stat requirements to use, and also has the least combined radiance and inferno. So the reason you would go for this is that even if you're playing as a caster, or let's say you get 10 hours into the game and you want to respec into being a caster, you can take the points that you end up putting into your strength and agility and put them into radiance and inferno and turn this into a caster. It's not as easy to do with a caster into a melee class, because you can see you're not going to be able to take those 18 points out of inferno. These are very, very heavily focused on the tricks that they are supposed to have as casters. And a lot of these other combat-based classes are also focused in a similar way, such as all that agility. We only get 22 in the endurance and vitality. Similar story here, even less in endurance and vitality, but we get some strength and agility out of it. Also infantry, similar kind of story, 11 and 12. So overall, it's probably the Partisan, very tightly tied with the Hallowed Knight, depending on what you're gonna do. If you have any preference at all for Radiance, then the Hallowed Knight probably wins hands down. But yes, Partisan is going to be the best overall class. However, this is going to be a Pyric Cultist walkthrough, and that is what we're going to be going for. So that's what we're going to do. As per usual, anybody that's been to my channel before, followed any of these series, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to recreate Andraste here, my ancient British, the Iceni tribe god of war. For those that don't know, it is the god of war that Boudica invoked when she fought the Romans. So we're going to go with a ginger looking lady, because that's the stereotype for Boudica herself. Obviously not much is known about the god, so I kind of just go with her as a basis. Either way, give me a few minutes. Let's go and start looking at creating a character. Now, I find for whatever reason, you know, when you move this around, it has this really weird habit of randomizing the face texture. Right, you see how it's going like really weird. So it's difficult to see what this is actually doing in terms of to the face. Right, so instead of doing this, just come down here like this and you'll find facial hair, sorry, face texture, that you can just select a face that you like the look of, or like the look of the most. For some reason, like, you move that slider around and it's basically just picking one of these anyway. So I find this much easier to take a look at, and I think I like 6. So we're going with 6. Yeah, let's go with 6. We've not too many blemishes. I know this game's all like kind of grubby and stuff. That's not my interest, eh? She's a bit cleaner than that. Oh man, why did that went really yucky there, didn't it? I think 1's ended up being better now. Maybe 7. Young eye color. Let's go with like either a bright blue or a bright green. Let's go with the blue today, I think. And look at that glow. Evil. I think green's nice. Let's do that. There we go. Eyes. Change the eyes around. When I was playing around with this before, this wasn't really all that nice. But just to kind of show you guys how this looks. Now, because this is obviously a female character, I like to turn this to the side. I don't want a big bulbous overhanging brow, because that's just not very feminine in my opinion. We're going to go with something like 11. Interesting that it's only 10. Interesting. So the different classes, I didn't even notice this before, the different classes must get different eye shapes, or maybe the different faces. Something changes with different eye types you can have. That's very strange. Nose. Maybe it's just numbered weird. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe it's just numbered weird. Number 1 looks the best, I think. Don't want a Concord nose on there. Hell no. Ears. As long as they don't stick out too far. It's fine. It's like kind of pinned back, isn't it? We don't need big, huge mouth. And again, so when you look at the mouth here, make sure you keep an eye on the chin. As, you know, depending on the character that you're trying to create, you may not want a huge chiseled jaw coming off of the front, right? So I reckon we're going to go with 14. It's a bit anime. It's a bit pointy, but kind of fun. I kind of like it like that. Cheekbones. And again, this affects the jaw quite a bit as well, so just be careful about what you're doing with it. That one brought the neck in quite a bit there, didn't it? Yeah. I think 12 for me. Okay, a nice looking lady. It's pretty good. Oh yeah, it came out okay. Usually I'm terrible at this. Let's back out. So just in case you don't know, to change the body type, this game calls it body type, not gender necessarily. You need to come back to where the class selection is. You can see there, just under where it says default, you can change it right there. I don't think you can do it on any of the screens, which is kind of weird, but just in case somebody's asking, it took me a little bit of time to just see that. We don't need facial hair. The braids are my favourite hairstyle for now, so I guess that's going to stay the same. Skin colour can stay the same as well. Hair colour, not skin colour. So again, I think we have like basically, this is like a really weird slider. So you can have thin and fat, which makes it all look kind of like you've lost weight really fast. What's with the hair coming through the neck? That's unusual. So this kind of like changes the texture of the skin. I find in general, muscular or large looks better than thin to me. And then when we come up to the top, why don't we go on the top? Something that makes this a little bit weird is, this is what makes everything look strange when you're going around here. You can't seem to change the shoulder width. So if you wanted like a big hulking dude, or even big hulking like whatever you want, right? You can't really have big massive shoulders. You can't really have like smaller petite shoulders either. So you can't really do much in the way of adjusting the stature of the character. So just kind of pick something that makes it not like it's got a terrible texture on it. I think I found down here somewhere was pretty alright, between thin and large, and then add either muscular or large onto it, because the only problem with large is it does add like a bit of padding on, but it wants to put like creases in the butt. Look at that, it's really weird. And in the back, so just be a bit aware of that. I mean, you're never going to see this, but you know, if you know it's there, sometimes it bothers you. Do you know what I mean? So don't pay attention to the actual color you're seeing here. See all these whites? They're not all as pale as you think they are. I think they've just gone with, okay, so Caucasian people are like white as a sheet of paper, and then everyone else is whatever all this is, right? Like this kind of beige looking bony color, like looks quite tan. It's actually kind of nice, kind of a nice color. So just make sure you check through all of that's like mega obsidian, like real cool. Just make sure you check through these to make sure you pick the color it is that you like, right? Because they don't really give you much of a description as to what the color's actually going to look like when it goes on your character. I kind of like that. Although Britain wasn't cold back then. Not a lot of people know this, but during the Roman occupation of Britain, there were vineyards in Britain, which means it was a frostless climate, which means it was significantly warmer than it is now. Which is probably why the sea was so stormy at the time. Probably would have had olive skin, something like that. Nice pinkish colour. I kind of like the colour. Let's go with that. I'm not too big of a fan of tattoos all over the legs and stuff. So let's remove those. You can get tattoos everywhere, by the way. So lots of like patterns you can customize with. Real nice, actually. And with the, I don't necessarily say religious, but the way this game seems to operate itself, having literature tattooed all over yourself doesn't seem out of the question. Let's take these ones off as well, even though these would make sense. There are no tears. Usually I like to give her the blooded tears of our enemy, but it doesn't seem to be a thing that I can have this time around. That is going to be my character. Maybe I'll brighten that hair a little bit. Head, hair, colour. Yeah, here we go. Oh, why does it have to go like all murky? Saturation, brightness. It's like Aloy, isn't it? Aloy level hair. Yeah, because that does look kind of Aloy-ish, I'm going to go with that. It's not quite an Aloy cosplay, but we'll take it. Very nearly is, though. Orange braids. Yeah. I can't remember what colour her eyes is. We could change them. Anyways, quite funnily, I just went and checked, and seems her eyes are like between a brown and a green. I can't quite tell whether it is brown or like a darkish or khaki type green. So we're pretty much there. In fact, just so I know which character this is, that's maybe what I'll name it this time around. Nah, I'm a sucker for repetition. I'm so sorry. Interesting. Let's go with, I don't know, with guide. So no, don't do that. So let us begin our adventure. This has been a longer video than I anticipated it to be, but I hope it helps you in selecting your initial class, so the best class for going forward, and I will catch you very shortly as we progress through the tutorial area.